Hey guys, welcome to Mosaic Restore. I am going to take you through an hour-long restorative workout. And the reason for this is whether you are somebody that's at the gym 5 days a week working hard on the weights, or if you're training for a triathlon, or if you're just somebody that's sitting at your desk, all day, and maybe you just work out with me a couple times a week. Regardless, you will have areas that will be tight on your body and restricted. Restricted is probably a better word. So when we have these restrictions in our body, we are not able to move fluidly. And so my goal for you is to take you through this program so that you're able to understand how to use some of the tools that I, as a fitness retrainer, use in your programming, as well as to give you the opportunity to do this at home. So then that way you're not going, wait a minute, scratch my head. What did she say? What am I supposed to do with this ball? Or what am I supposed to do with this foam roller? So this is my goal for you guys, is to just kind of take you through a class just like you would if you came to me and you were taking a class full of, 10 other people that are doing it with you. So the first thing I like to ask people if I was doing a restore type class is, where are you tight or restricted? Or where do you have pain? So kind of make a mental note of your body. Just becoming aware of your body is really important. So do you find yourself really tight through the pelvis here? Do you find yourself tight through your shoulders? Do you notice that maybe one shoulder is a little higher, or maybe your hips are rotated a little bit? Do your feet hurt when you walk, or do you have sensitivity? So those are all the different things that you want to ask yourself, because as you work through this program, I'm going to show you things from your toes all the way up to your neck. But if there are areas that are chronic areas for you, then I want you to focus on those. So it doesn't mean that every single time you do this, you have to put this video on and watch me the whole time. But maybe fast forward to those smaller parts that you go, yeah, that's my spot, So I like to call it search and destroy, as we're working through these different areas of our body. So real quick, what are we doing? Why do we need to restore? So we know that we need to improve our functionality. We have fascia throughout our whole body. So from the time you are even created, those zygote cells are actually made of fascia. And because of that, it's like this spider web that goes through our whole body from our head all the way to our toes. So because we're made of fascia, those things wrap around our muscle, and it literally becomes like saran wrap. So when you think of saran wrap and you pull it and you're trying to put it on something and it's all bound up like that, this is the problem we have in our body. So we might have a trauma, like a sprained ankle. We might have just chronic repetitive movement, like sitting at a desk with our shoulders forward and we're typing all day with a forward neck. There's all kinds of things that can happen. It can be from a surgery. If you have had a C-section, if you have had any type of surgery, you have scar tissue. That is, the fascia is just bound up. And it's like a 7-layer cake. So it's literally like skin, then you have fascia, then muscle, then fascia and muscle, and there's blood vessels that are running through that. And when we have restriction, sometimes we're not able to feel it. So if I say to my clients, I want you to feel your shoulders go down and back, and they're like, I don't really feel this exercise in this certain spot that you're telling me, that tells me that the fascia is tight on you, and you have your sense of feeling has been numbed. The other thing is blood flow isn't as good. So we want to improve those things and restore the tissue so that you're able to function the best that you can. Okay, so 2 tools that we're going to use, a couple things that we're going to use. The first thing is a ball. So this is a trigger point ball. You guys can get a tennis ball if you have one in your house. I like this because it has a little give to it. A tennis ball works great as well, though. You don't have to get this little fancy thing. I just have lots of tools because this is what I do. The second second thing would be a foam roller. Now there's a couple different sizes, lots of different types. I have two kinds. So I have a small one and then I have a pretty large one. So just like that, okay? Clients, and I really recommend that they do this at home on a regular basis. So if you are still watching, hopefully you are, so you understand the purpose of it. You may feel sore when you first start, and there's going to be areas of your body that are going to be more tender than others. So the more regular you do this, the easier your body is able to relax into it, and that fascia starts to release. If you only do it once a week or when you come to see me, you're not going to get the same results. And I'll tell you what, it really impedes your fitness programming, the progress that you're going to make, because when your muscles can't move because of tight fascia, we're not able to grow muscle, we're not able to burn as much body fat. So stretching and restorative programs like this are really key to helping you get the results that you want. Okay, so we're gonna start right now. We're gonna actually start with a small ball. I'm gonna take the ball, I'm gonna bend my knees here. I'm just gonna put it right down in between my feet, okay? So we're gonna just start with some breaths, because really what we want is to breathe in some oxygen. That's gonna help get the circulatory system fired up, and that's what we want. So you're gonna take an inhale, you're gonna exhale out. As you breathe in, I want you to feel those shoulders dropping down, those scapula bones, those shoulder blades are dropping down into your back pocket. And exhale all the air out. When you do that, you should feel that belly button start to pull in towards the spine. And I want you to think of yourself lengthening through the crown of your head and pulling the rib cage forward. Okay, couple deep breaths just to get you in that, kind of wiggling those toes, bringing awareness into your body. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with the toes. So you are going to put your toes on top of this ball here. So I'm going to move back just a touch. So just the toes are curling around it right now, okay? The heel is on the ground, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna step forward with the left leg, and we're just gonna bend the knee slightly and sink into it and just surrender. You should feel a stretch in your calf right now, and breathe. Really important to breathe, inhale, exhale. Some of you may have extremely tight calves, so holding here is important. Good, so you're just sinking into that, keeping this leg straight. And I want you to pull the left hip back and the right hip forward. We will have a tendency to shift. So if you feel that shift, make sure that you keep that pelvis straight ahead. It's really important that our posture stays straight, so that we're able to get those fascia lines the way that they're supposed to be. So you're gonna go ahead and bring that foot back to meet the other one. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the arch of your foot. So kind of that top arch. We're gonna go to 4 places. We're gonna go toes, the first part of the arch, the cup of the foot, and then the heel, okay? So we're gonna just hang out on the arch right now. And you're gonna press into it. You're gonna bend the right knee and breathe. And exhale. And exhale. And while we're on this part, what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you, like a teeter-totter, you're going to feel your toes come and touch the ground, and then you're going to teeter-totter it back to your heel. So we're going to touch the toes, and then we're going to press the heel down. So I'm going to turn to the side as well so that you're able to see what I'm doing. So we're going to be here, pressing down, and then back. So pressing down and back, moving that fascia back and forth, keeping everything straight. You're going to then move down to the cup of your foot. So the cup of your foot is just that part that you can feel curl under, okay? And you're going to hang out right there. And we could even circle around, okay? And breathe and just surrender, kind of sink into that and breathe. Some of this, for those of you that are really sensitive, it's going to be painful, but again, it can get better. Now, if you have some really tight spots, you could always also use a golf ball. That will get in a little deeper. I would recommend sitting, because that would be a good thing to do, to sit. So you're gonna then kind of move it all around. Then we're just gonna go to the heel. And what I want you to do when you're on the heel is you're gonna start towards the where the big toe is, the line of the big toe, go down to the heel, and you're gonna draw that ball up towards that toe. Then we're going to move it over to the second toe, and you're going to come down all the way to the heel. Then we're going to move it over, and we're going to come back up the foot towards the middle toe. Now some of you, you're going to be like, what is she talking about? It hurts. Okay, surrender to it as much as you can. If you need a break, you take a break. Okay, move it over and pull it back. This is really good. Remember, all motion, as we move, our first strike is going to be our feet. So, and lots of toxins are in our feet. So you want to make sure that you drink a lot of water after we're done today. All right. So we go through all of that, and then I just want you to stand and just feel the difference in the feet. So this should feel a little looser, a little better. Okay, so it should feel a lot better on that side, right? Then you're going to repeat it on the left side. All right, so that's what we'll do. You're going to start with the toes, take a deep breath, inhale, exhale. You're going to bring the right foot forward, and it's just like you're doing a calf stretch. So you're stretching that foot. We're stretching that calf, okay? And then again, your body may want to rotate. So I want you to pull left hip bone forward, right hip bone back, so that that pelvis stays straight, and hold. Make sure that the left knee is straight and not bent, and breathe. Very good. You're going to step that foot back to meet the other one. We're going to go to the arch of the foot, and you're going to just hang out on that arch. And we're going to teeter-totter it. So you're going to touch the toes to the ground and then the heels. So we're not really moving the ball. We're just moving the foot back and forth. So just think of a teeter-totter like when you were a kid. And we're just moving it back and forth on the upper part of that arch. So that upper arch of the foot. You're trying to keep everything in alignment. And then you're going to go down to the cup of the foot. Oh, that feels really nice. I'm going to step back a little bit so you can see me. So in the cup of the foot, and just surrender. Take a breath. And relax those shoulders. So shoulder check is really important. Also keeping that neck nice and long. And breathing into it and exhaling out and circling it around. Now, some of you may need to have a chair or some supportive, something next to you that can be supportive. If you do have a large foam roller, you can always use that to hold on to while you're doing this, especially if you have some balance issues. That would be a really important thing to use, would be the foam roller. Or a chair, if you had a chair. So we're just gonna circle around here, and then we're gonna go to the heel, and just like before, we're gonna start on the heel, and then we're gonna trace all the way up the foot. Okay, just like you're tracing a line all the way to the big toe. And I can tell that this side is a little special. I'm gonna move to that second toe, and then I'm gonna come back down towards the heel. Breathe, inhale. Make sure you're breathing, and then you're just tracing the foot. Tracing the lines of fascia. People who have plantar fasciitis, really good thing to do here. The other thing is, if you have time, if you're gonna do this kind of practice, would be if you could take a hot bath, or if you have a hot tub, if you can heat your body, even a hot shower, it's better to do that, because fascia is actually made of collagen and elastin. So when you heat the body, the fascia becomes more pliable. So for those of you that feel like this is really sensitive and it hurts, heating up the tissue actually can be something really beneficial for you. There we go. Okay, and then you're gonna bring the foot down and kind of stand on the earth and just kind of feel the difference. You should feel, you can kind of move those toes a little bit, back and forth, really good. You're gonna take your left ear towards your left shoulder. You're gonna take the ball and you're gonna start right behind the ear. And we're just gonna move the ball down the neck and then up. Just a little bit. Some of you might want to cross over. This may be easier. Or you can do same side, okay? So we're just gonna move through the scalenes. These get really tight on us. So you're just moving through those scalenes. Up and then down. All on the side of the neck. Make sure we're breathing. Good. Find a little yummy spot, search and destroy. When you find a spot, you can kind of hang out on it a little bit. I have lots of spots in there. So you can go right up there. Then you can go right behind the ear and you can come along the front where the jaw is. If you have TMJ, that feels really good. So this is what the ball is really good for.
Take the ball on the other side and we'll do the other side. So breathing in and just moving down and up the scalenes. So those of you that have migraines, this can be really beneficial for you. Up and down. Good, and breathe. And bring it back to center.
Body that I like to call your thut. So you get your butt, you got your thigh, right? We're gonna find the thut, all right? So you're gonna use your chair and we're gonna sit right on the ball in that thut area, okay? Should feel pretty good. So you're just gonna hang out there just like that and you're just gonna sink into it. Just sink into it. You're finding that spot. All right. And just surrender. Once you got it on there, you just bring the knee up towards your body and then back down. So bring the knee up towards your chest and then back down. Again, shoulder check, chin check, abs are tight, up and down. Good. And breathe. Good, so we're getting that thut really good. Once we got that, what I want you to do, if you can, is you're gonna grab that foot and you're gonna place it on top of the knee. So not right on the kneecap, but actually at the top of the thigh. If that's hard for you to do, you can always cross it down side. So whatever leg is up is a leg that we're gonna roll on. So you're just kind of rolling all on there, just like you're making like a half moon, okay? Just rolling on there, and then you can butterfly, so you can bring the leg up and down. Just like that. Good, and make sure you're breathing. Good. You can always position it, take it up a little higher. Ooh, I got a good pop there. There you go. This is where I always have lots of ooh, yeah, that hurts. So breathe. You got to be a little sadomasochistic. Love this. It's kind of crazy. Whew, but it feels good. So you're going to take that off. I want you to just sit. Okay, you should feel a difference in your hips. So you should feel a difference in the right hip versus the left.
You're going to find the spots on the left side. You're going to position it there. All right, once you get it on there, you're going to hold it on there just like that. You're going to bring the knee up and then down. Up and then down, just like that. Beautiful. And you can even move it over a little bit. And sometimes you find a spot, we have to just kind of maybe move a little bit to find. It doesn't always have to hurt, but you know it feels a little more restricted and what feels better. So we're going to just kind of move it just a little bit. And then if you can, you're going to take that leg, bring it over. This side's always a little tighter on me. So we're going to go ahead and remember it's whatever leg is crossed, that's the butt cheek, and we are rolling on. Okay, so you're rolling on that butt cheek. Should feel really good. Some of you, it's like, no, it doesn't feel good, Tracy. It's like kind of hurting.
gonna take our foam roller and we are gonna lay on it. So we're gonna have our butt or our sacrum at the bottom, and then your head will be supported on the top here, just like that. And then we're gonna stretch our legs out long. Now, here's the thing. If your legs are closed, less stability, okay? If your legs are a little bit wider, you have more stability. All right, you can kind of feel those ASIS bones right here. We're trying to keep everything as level as possible. And you're just gonna bring your arms out, take a deep inhale and exhale, and just surrender into the foam roller, okay? Most people love this. This is an awesome ending to a workout. It's a great opener for the pecs that tend to get really tight. So those of you that have rounded shoulders, this is a great thing to do. So you're just gonna kind of lay for a minute, okay? You can kind of turn your head just a little bit and hold it and breathe through it. And exhale. And then look the other direction and breathe. And exhale. Good. So if it's uncomfortable on your low back, you can go ahead and bend your knees. I can always invite you to do something like that and press your low back down. This helps to open up the front of the body. You have hip flexors that are attached to the spine. This helps open everything up. But if it's uncomfortable, you always do a shorter lever. So what I want you to do is you're gonna take your arms up to a goal post, just like that. And we're gonna do internal rotation. So we're gonna rotate the right arm down and the left arm is staying up, and we're breathing. And we're just gonna switch back and forth. And just kind of feel that rotation in that rotator cuff muscle. Some of you don't have the same range of motion, and that's okay. This practice is all about finding your range of motion and having a lot of awareness with your body, okay? This gives it a little bit of gravity while you're on the foam roller in order to really stretch those muscles. So I can tell on my left side, my pec is kind of tight, and my rotator cuff on that left side is also. I feel it when I go down into that stretch quite a bit. And I'm exhaling, and I'm inhaling. Good, just like that. Now you're gonna bring your hands up towards the ceiling. All right, so you have like little daggers with your fingers. We're gonna reach toward the ceiling, and then you're gonna pull those shoulder blades back together. So you're reaching, shoulder blades are coming up, and then you're pulling them back together. Good. So we're just moving the fascia that's in between the shoulder blades. A lot of us have very limited range of motion, mobility, and sometimes we can't even feel when we're doing back work. So protraction, which is coming forward, and then retraction is really good for shoulder mobility, just to get those joints moving just a little bit. And take an inhale. Exhale, breathe. Inhale, exhale, breathe. Good. We're gonna interlace the fingers, and I want you to bend both knees here, just like that. Good. We're gonna bring the arms to the right as the knees go to the left. Just a little rotation, and then we're gonna come back to the other side. And we're just gonna rotate back and forth. Some of you will have a little bit more stability than others, so just kind of pay attention. If this does not feel good on your body, then just don't do this one, okay? It's all about making your body feel good. So we're just trying to rotate upper half and lower half back and forth, okay? Next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna snow angel it. So bring your arms out. You can keep the knees bent, or I will invite you to extend those legs again. We're gonna bring our arms all the way up over our head, and then exhale, circle them back down. Inhale up, and then exhale back down. Good. And some of you might feel like a little Rice Krispies in there. Snap, crackle, pop. as you move through the shoulder girdle. Some of you may not be able to get those biceps all the way up towards your ears. You go again with your range of motion. Now I can feel on my left side that once I get to a certain range of motion, about right there, I start to feel a lot of pulling in through here. But I don't feel like anything is compromised, so I'm going to continue to stretch that because it needs to be stretched. All right, so just like that, perfect. All right, so you're going to go ahead, bend your knees, all right, and you're going to roll, you're going to bend this elbow, and you're just going to slowly roll off the foam roller and kind of push it back, all right, and bring your knees to your chest, and you're going to massage your spine back and forth. So for most of you, that should feel really good. We're going to go ahead and take an inhale, and I want you to reach towards those toes. See if you can reach that foam roller and hold. Everything is C curving in your spine, and then you're going to come all the way up, restack the spine, okay? You can bend the knees if you want to. You can roll down your body, hold on to that foam roller if you can. We're going to press it out, and then we're going to roll all the way back, restack the spine. Good. One more time. You're going to roll down. You can bend those knees in if you need to. Extend out, and then roll all the way back up. So we're going to bring this back towards us. We're going to go ahead and lay back down just like you were. We're going to take the foam roller. We're going to roll it till we feel that it is on our low back. So kind of right in the ridge where the low back has a little bit of a curve, that's what you're going to do in the top of the glutes, okay? So you should feel like you're pretty supported back here, right? Hands can go down to your side, whatever is comfortable for you. So once you get into that position, I want you to take your right leg and you're going to hug it into your chest and breathe. And then stretch out that left leg and hold it. Again, you should feel lots of support in the lumbar spine. It should feel like a little lumbar massage for you. I'm just gonna hold that. Good. And then you're gonna bend the left leg. You're gonna bring it up so both legs are in a tabletop position. Good, just like that. Now we're gonna bring the left knee towards your chest, and then stretch the right leg out long and hold and breathe. Good. You're gonna bring that down, you're gonna bend the knee. Now again, I'm gonna have you take the right leg up towards your chest. You're gonna elongate the left one. And I want you to pull the right in. You should feel a good stretch in the hip flexor here. And you're gonna lift the leg up and you're gonna bring it back down. Pull the right knee in towards your chest. So you're gonna lift and lower, and lift and lower and pull in. Lift and lower, pull the knee towards your chest. Lift and lower, pull the knee towards your chest. Good, and just hold and surrender. So as we pull this and we press this down, we get a really good stretch through the hip flexor. And breathe through it. Good. We're gonna bring that down. Good. Take the left leg, bring it up to your chest. We're gonna elongate the right leg and we're gonna hold it. You're gonna exhale. And then you're going to inhale, you're gonna lift and lower and pull it in more. You're gonna lift the right leg up, lower it down, and pull the left leg in. Lift, lower, and pull. And make sure you're breathing. Shoulder check, make sure everything is on the ground. Make sure your lumbar spine feels good. It should feel like a little massage. Good. And then bring that back down, bend the leg. Good. You're going to lift the hips up. You're gonna push this down by your legs and then slowly roll all the way. back down. Good. So starting where the ankle is, you want to pull your toes up towards your nose. If you can lift your hips up off the ground and you can just roll halfway up. Okay, so I just want you to think we're going to take it in two parts. So from the bottom of the ankle and halfway up the calf. Now if this is too much on your shoulders, then you can take just one and then you can actually move it a little bit just like this, back and forth. So that's another thing you can do if it's too much on your shoulders. Okay, but usually this isn't too bad, or you can kind of scoot your butt back and forth, okay? Then you're gonna move it up a little bit, find that halfway point of the calf, and we're gonna take it halfway from here, and we're gonna roll up to the knee. So I want you to think about 4 sweeps, forward and back, forward and back, just like that. Good. And then you're going to rotate out and then rotate in and rotate out. So we have muscles on the side of the leg. A lot of times those get really tight. So we can just rotate through. We can point and flex the ankles. Sometimes you can feel it there. So we can take about 4 times to point and flex the ankles, and then we can rotate like a windshield wiper out, and then toes in, heels in, toes in. And you can feel a little bit of those fascia lines moving. You can also, to make it more intense, you can take one leg on top of the other, press up, and now you get one leg and all your body weight is just sinking into that. You can also use a ball. So if you need something a little more intense, you can use a medicine ball or a softball to do this as well. So we're gonna go ahead and go down from there, so how those calves feel. And then you're gonna go ahead and do the hamstrings. Usually this feels pretty good. So we're gonna lift up just like that, and we're gonna roll all the way down and then come all the way back up. All the way down the leg and then all the way back up. And like I said, this usually feels really good to people. You can internally rotate toes towards each other, knees towards each other. That's gonna get the semimembranosus. That is a muscle in the hamstring. You have 3 muscles in your hamstring. That one lies a little bit more medial. And then if you rotate the legs out, then you're gonna hit a little bit more of another part of the hamstring, biceps femoris and the semitendinosus. So you kind of hit those in a different way when you rotate, and you can rotate your legs back and forth. We're gonna do the glutes. So our glutes take a lot of beating. There's a lot of beating with the glutes. So we're gonna sit on top of the foam roller, just like that. Okay, your hands can go back behind you. All right, rib cage is lifted. All right, you're gonna take your right foot and you're going to cross it over your left. We did this when we were seated in the chair, so now we're just gonna use the foam roller because we can always use double time on this. So whatever leg is crossed over is the hip that you're gonna lean towards. So you are leaning towards that hip. We have opened up the hip right now, and we're just leaning towards that and moving that hip around, seeing if we can find any not so nice spots. So if you find one, you kind of hang out on there. And again, the word is surrender. So for those control people out there, foam rolling is all about surrendering to it. So you're just gonna kind of sit into it, sink into it, and kind of roll around on it, okay? So this is hitting what's called our deep 6. The muscles are really deep under there. They're the deepest muscles in the pelvis area and the glutes. So, you know, again, we're working the fascia, we're getting it moving. If you really want to get deep into the glutes, you can actually take a ball, like the golf ball or that trigger point ball, lie on the ground, like we were on the foam roller, and just allow your glutes, just put that right under your cheeks and just sit there. It works, I've done it. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and switch sides. Some of you may not be able to cross the leg over. You could always cross it down by the shins or even at the ankle. The goal is if this is your femur bone, if we can get this up and then rotated, it actually opens up the hip joint a little bit more. So that would be the goal for it, okay? This is my special side. So like automatically I'm like, oh, that will do it. And I have to do this regularly because my body just gets really tight. So every morning I usually get up and I have my 3 really quick spots, my back, my IT bands, and my glutes. I always do those with the foam roller every morning when I first get up. That is just my practice, just like drinking a glass of water before I get up, or right after I get up. So this is just a really good thing for you to do and get into the habit of. It will keep you more mobile. It will keep some of that binding of that scar tissue. It'll diminish that a lot more, and overall you'll feel better. So you just want to work through the pain. You don't want to be in excruciating pain, but you just, you tolerate it as long as you can, move off of it, and then try to go back on. Day by day, I've done this for years, clients get better, they feel better, they move better. So you're just kind of rolling around on here just like that, okay? And bring it in, and you could even sit down and kind of stretch. Bring those legs in, just kind of feel that stretch that's in the inner thighs a little bit, and kind of roll forward. All right, it's about to get nasty, okay? Nobody likes this one, but this is the one we gotta do. This is the IT band. So really quick, IT band. All right, what that's gonna be is top of your hip. All right, you have a lot of muscles that kind of all come into this area. There's this really thick tendon. It's called your iliotibial band. It will connect here, and it goes all the way straight down the leg, and it actually attaches at the tibia. So it's a really long, thick tendon. Tendons don't get blood flow. We're gonna roll from, you wanna be about 1 inch away from the hip joint and 1 inch away from the knee joint. So we're gonna do this section right here in the leg, and see where that little crease is in my pants. We're gonna go here and just kind of hang out there for a little bit, and then we're gonna go down further. So just bear with me. I know this is painful, but we'll get through it. Kind of sit on top of it. You're gonna come down on your elbow, so 90 degrees here. Those of you that do side planks, this is what it looks like. All right, we're gonna stretch that bottom leg completely straight, and I want your toes pulled up towards your nose. Then we're gonna take the other leg and we're gonna cross that in front of us. Now this hand can go here, or you can put it down, whatever is easiest for you, okay? We're gonna be moving just a little bit, just up and down, just like that, okay? So you wanna make sure that you're not rolling back or rolling forward. Right now we're just gonna roll back and forth on that thigh. So on that side thigh area is where we are. Just like that, okay? About 4 sweeps forward and back. Find an area that might be a little bit tight, and then you can also rotate and then come back out. So this is where we rotate, and again, about 4 times. So 4 times is what I want you to remember. Go back and forth about 4 times. If you can't tolerate it, do what you can, okay? All right, and then we're going to move it down. So now we're gonna get that lower section. So we're gonna go ahead and go on that lower section, same position with our body, and we're gonna go down and up. And we can bend and straighten that lower leg. Bend and straighten that lower leg, just like that, okay? That's gonna help. We are actually moving that fascia back and forth. Usually people are like, oh, this hurts so bad. So if you have tightness in your knees, if you've had scar tissue or you've had surgery, you're gonna feel that more. And drop your hip back down and come up, and then we'll take it to the other side. People love to do the quads. Usually this is really nice. This is the front of the legs. You're just gonna lay on the foam roller, and we're gonna go from just above the kneecaps. Elbows are in that 90-degree position here. And we're just gonna roll back and forth. Just rolling the legs back and forth. We're gonna take just a little corner of it, okay? Now you can also do the hip flexor with that little ball too. It's pretty intense. So the smaller it is, the more intense it is for your body. So it's just like if somebody is giving you a massage and they start using their elbow, a lot more intense than if they're just using their hands or even the palm of their hand. So just remember that as you're using these things. So the hip flexor, we're gonna go up a little higher. Okay, hip flexor starts at the lumbar spine, cuts across your body, and it attaches into the femur bone here, okay? So that's where we're gonna start. So we're gonna go ahead and position our body just like that. We're gonna bring our elbows down so it looks like the quad, and then we're just gonna kind of find if there's an area. The other leg's just kind of hanging out on the side. All right, and see if you can find a not so yummy spot. And then you can actually even move the hip back and forth. So moving the pelvis so that right hip bone goes towards the ground and then away from the ground. And sometimes you can feel it a little bit more there. Some of you may have to roll down a little further to feel it. Some of the fibers that come through this area, you know, your tension in your low back could be coming from this culprit. The hip flexor tends to be an area that can be a contributing factor in low back pain. So before you go run off and get an x-ray or MRI and things like that, I would recommend just seeing if you can release the hip flexors a little bit first. Adductors are next. Adductors are going to be all the muscles in the inner thigh. So people tend to be very tight on the outside and on the inside, or restricted, because we're trying to stabilize the pelvis. So if you have any issues with your pelvis is higher, your pelvis is rotated, or you have some low back tension, you may have really tight adductors and really tight abductors. So those muscles tend to be a little bit more sensitive. You're just kind of throwing your leg over it, just like that, okay? Your upper body is gonna go down like you're at 90 degrees or in that front plank position. And then you're gonna roll from the knee and then just halfway up. So just take it in sections, okay? So we're gonna cut the leg in half, and we're gonna go halfway and then bring it back in. Okay, and we're gonna find that meaty part of your flesh. So you have your rib cage right here, and then you got your hip bone. So there's a section right through there that's kind of meaty, like that's where, you know, we'd say there's where our love handles are. Okay, so that's where we're trying to focus, is right up in that area. I don't want you to be on the bone. So you're gonna find that area. We're gonna keep the knees bent, okay? Find that meaty part of that muscle, okay? And you can kind of keep that arm there and just sink into it. This is called your quadratus lumborum, or your QL muscle. This actually hikes your hips up. So it's another really important muscle. You can take your hand behind your head just like this, okay? And we're just gonna roll ourselves down, elbow towards the ground, and then roll back. Roll yourself down and roll back. So we're just trying to stretch any of the fascia that is in here. Sometimes we get really bound up in this area, so you're just rotating your body. Now some of your bodies don't like to rotate. So if they don't like to rotate, then you're just here. You're just hanging out. Maybe your hand is down here and you're sinking into it and surrendering. And we're gonna move it up to where the lats are. So the lats are your big muscle in your back. So if you think Michael Phelps, that's like that big muscle that's here, comes around and attaches in the humerus, okay? So we're gonna lay the arm out. Good, palm is up towards the ceiling, okay? My palm is up, my hand is here, and I'm just gonna sink into that and feel if there's a spot there. And I just usually will move my body back and forth, okay? little rotation, just a little tiny movement. Again, if your body doesn't like this, don't rotate, just hold and sink into it and breathe. Good. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Ladies, where your bra strap is, guys, where the heart rate monitor would be if you had a heart rate monitor on. Okay, so you're gonna take the foam roller and you're gonna lay back on that area, just like that. Okay, your glutes are on the ground, your knees are bent. Our hands are going to be interlaced, and our head is gonna be heavy. And, okay, so it's like a basket. You're just laying your head down, okay? And we're just gonna roll. We're not gonna get into the neck. We're just kind of rolling back and forth on the upper back. Again, this should feel really good on your body. And I want you to lift up with your rib cage as you come forward. And you kind of come up. And then as you roll back, just a little bit of an arch. And so we come up. Think of lifting up with the rib cage, just like that. And then arching back. Just like that. Good. We can add some lateral flexion as well, so you can be here and you can think to yourself, you're taking your right rib cage towards your left, or I'm sorry, your right rib towards your right hip. Then come back to the center, left rib towards your left hip. So we get a little bit of lateral flexion right now, back and forth. And again, make sure your head is heavy in your hands, abs are staying tight. Trying not to move your lower body at all. Now, if your body's okay with rotation, we can do some rotation. So we can rotate so that the left elbow comes up towards the ceiling, right elbow comes down towards the ground, and switch. All right, so the left goes down, left elbow down to the ground, right up towards the ceiling, and then back to center. So again, only if your body likes rotation do you want to do that. Okay, you're gonna bring your hands back down and we're just gonna slowly roll down to our neck. So let's start to feel that right in the neck and take an inhale and exhale. This should feel pretty good. You can position it a little bit more so you can kind of get right in that crux of the neck. I want you to think of lengthening out, so maybe pulling your chin, lengthening and lifting. Just a little baby movement here. Just like that. And then you can rotate. So we can rotate to the left, and then we can rotate to the right. And that should feel really good in your neck. Those of you that have migraines and things like that, this is a really, really good one to do. Good. And then once you're done, you're gonna push that down. You're gonna lay on the ground and just kind of allow your body to just lay for just a few minutes. Breathe in and exhale everything out. And exhale out. Maybe 3 breaths. Safest way to get up, bend your knees, guys. You're gonna take it over to the side, bring your hand down, press up with that, and then come all the way up, and you're gonna get everything up. So I want you to take 2 fists. You're gonna start with your back here, and you're just gonna kind of pat your body down, go through your glutes, all the way down, all the way to the calves, come up inside of your legs. All right, we're just kind of flushing things out. Come back through the back. Come back down. Good. Inside. Good. Like little punches for yourself. All right. Go down. Come back up. And then I want you to just go here. And you're just going to, like, you're trying to get some bugs off of you. Just everything out. Good. Flushing everything out of your system. Good. Take an inhale. Stretch it up, drop it to one side, take it back to center, Take it to the other side. Inhale, and one more time, breathe. Good, exhale. And you're done. All right, guys, well, hopefully you feel restored and you are able to stand a little taller, breathe a little better. Hopefully we got some of those restricted areas moving a little bit better again. I encourage you to do this as often as you can. Like if you can just find those chronically tight areas, choose 2 or 3 of them every day and just work on them. You will be surprised how much better your body will feel, how much better you'll be able to walk, working, running, if you're a runner, playing with your children, just moving in general. You will definitely reap the benefits of using a foam roller. So this is a trigger point foam roller. Again, you can get it on Amazon. The little ball I use is a trigger point as well. So this is what we're doing with our body. We're restoring what's been broken, the things that have been through injury and trauma, and you're healing from the inside out. So that will make your workouts better, and that will make you feel better and make you move better.